I think we're good. So, I guess continuing off of my book review from last week, I'm going to do another book review for the 2 books that I read this week. I'm not sure if I'm going to do both reviews as like one video or one video per book, but I guess the book I'll start off with is 20. I already forgot the name, kind of. It's 20 lessons from the 20th century, is I think what it is called. Oops, I think somebody's not happy. But I mean, that book, incredible, just a very well put together book. Although quite short, it was like a small book, maybe about like that big, you know, versus a normal book is like kind of like this size. Very short, but the lessons from it are very, very powerful. I felt I like learned so much from the book. A lot of the stuff, not a lot of the stuff, I mean, there's like maybe like 30 or 40% of the stuff in the book I already knew, and the rest of it was putting together information in a different light. As I'm growing older, I know all these facts and all these lessons, but it's kind of like separately put together, or not even put together. It's all these facts and lessons are separate, but as I grow older, I'm seeing there's like different connections and different relationships between these facts, and that's what I'm trying to get better about, just how all these facts and this information, how they connect, the new relationships, new connections that I can form in my mind. I haven't even talked about what the book is about, but it's pretty much 20 lessons from the 20th century. Talks a lot about politics, the rise of fascism, and the rules and the lessons kind of accompanied from a lot of these fascist government, like the Nazis, like the Russians. I don't want to get too political on this channel, but even nowadays there are things that are happening right now that have already happened in the past in Eastern Europe, but now it's like I'm sure you guys have heard, history repeats itself, history rhymes. It's kind of like that sentiment. I don't know why there's so many cars traveling in this one direction. I guess it is kind of the start of the commute back from work. But it was talking about that, a lot of history about Eastern Europe, about the Nazis, communism, Russia. That guy gonna... and the lessons that we can draw from that time period. Some of it is like stuff we can apply to modern day politics and historical discourse. Some of it is like warnings for what could happen. It's a very insightful book. Like this book, at the end of this kind of review, I'm gonna give it a rating. I would rate it very, very highly. I do have like a kind of small nitpicky kind of details about the book, but it's like very small, kind of personal preference, personal flavor. This book is something I would highly recommend to anybody, regardless of age, education, like anybody's knowledge of history and politics. It's such an insightful book, because this book was written in the context of the post-2016 U.S. elections, and he at times makes parallels to how the 2016 elections went, and those information in those parallels that I wasn't like 100% aware of. Let's make sure we do this correct. Okay. And it was insightful for me to learn about the information and how stuff that happened in 2016 happened like already in the past. Like literally, some of the examples that he gave were literally like a 1-to-1 comparison. Like some things that happened in 2016 literally happened just about the same in like the 1930s or 1940s. Ooh, fire. Okay, some more breathing room. Hopefully I can find a place that's like not as busy. There's just like a lot of cars everywhere. So some of those examples were very insightful, The one example I'll bring up, like even happening today, I know the book is written in the context of like the post-2016 elections, but there's so many parallels, even to what's happening today. Today is January 6th. The DHS, Department of Homeland Security, literally, they've sent 2,000 federal immigration officers to Minneapolis after the Somali daycare fraud is kind of blown up in the social media, and that one investigative reporter, his narrative is that he blew the lid off of this fraud that was happening in daycares, them stealing billions of dollars of federal money. This is something that literally happened in Russia in like 2012, especially with the discourse of Muslim immigrants into Germany. This is stuff I kind of remember when I was younger, but it was too young to be of any significance or for me to like truly understand what was going on. But like the comparisons were kind of striking between what's going on now with them sending in 2,000 federal immigration officers and what happened with Germany. Basically the same thing. They kind of exposed like crimes that were happening by Muslim immigrants, but not all of it was necessarily true. Like some of it was for sure fabricated. Always got to be careful. And then the Russian government used that as an opportunity to kind of carry out their agenda. And it makes me wonder, because some of the facts that were uncovered about the investigative report done by that influencer is not completely factual. Like some of the daycare centers he went to and was demanding to see if there were any children in the daycare center, he went to the daycare centers in their off hours, so while they didn't have anybody in the room. So there are like little things, but that are like not 100% true, or they're painted in a picture with a certain agenda. But those little things add up, and they punch a lot of holes into the credibility of the story. Just like how the Russian government, they used the behavior of Muslims and combined it with non-factual, like fabricated stories or charges, and they use that as an excuse to carry out their agenda and like literally the same thing, send federal officials into like certain parts of Russia to detain them. So like the parallels are just crazy. This book seems like it's gonna really stand the test of time. Like some books I'll read, like the book I read last week, The Psychology of Wealth. It seemed like a kind of period time thing, even though it was written post 2008, and some of it is like timeless, but some of it is I question about it. You can see that in the video I made, my previous video. I don't know when this video is going to go up. I'm running a little bit short in time, but this book, it seems like the lessons are like 100% going to stand the test of time, because this stuff like fascism, like right-wing, left-wing politics, this is stuff that has been going on for like hundreds of years. Even though we think of like Nazi Germany as like the big modern historical example, Russia, Cold War, stuff like that, these patterns have been going on for as long as like empires and civilizations have been existing. I think the author also mentioned some examples of like ancient, like Rome and like Greece, that ancient, I can't remember if he provided any specific examples, but like this book is really great. It's not a long read at all, which is one of my few complaints. It's like 130 pages, 120 pages, but it's like very, very short. Like I was saying, it's like a lot of cars. I haven't been in this area in like around this time, so maybe this is just like when it's more trafficy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the book length is shorter. I would have preferred it to be a little bit longer, but it definitely seemed like that was like author's preference thing. He wanted to make something that was very succinct, to the point, which I can like 100% respect. And he accomplished what he wanted to do. Me personally, I would have preferred a little bit of a longer length book, more examples and more information, but he still did a great job with the length of the book that he ended up publishing and releasing, so props to him. My other small complaint is language. I would have loved this book to be, here's some advice here, to be more accessible to people. The language, it's, unless you have like a good high school education or a solid like bachelor's degree level of reading and understanding, it's definitely hard to follow at some points. The level of education definitely helped with making the book more succinct, but I feel like if he were to use more language more easily acceptable to most of the population, he could have gotten away with a little bit longer length of a book. But like I said, it was his stylistic choice, his preference to make the book as short as possible. It's very easy to carry around. It's like something you can carry around in your pocket too, which I feel like he wanted that book to be like a book you could just carry around in your pocket. See, this is the hard part of making the review while driving. It's like I don't want to be completely distracted, but I definitely want to make sure what I'm saying gets across in a coherent way of speaking. I think this does also make it a little bit more interesting too, because if I were to just like sit down and give my review, I feel like it'd be kind of boring. But you never know what could happen out on the road. A little bit distracted, but still making content. See, like this car is like way back. If I was doing this in my home, I would never see that this car is like comically away back from the intersection boundary. But like I was saying, like if it's in your book, I feel like he definitely made it that way on purpose. So all in all, just to kind of summarize this review, I'd highly recommend. Is there no intersection lights? I didn't just run a red, did I? I hope not. I could have sworn it was red before. Highly recommend. I'm gonna give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It's like I am still figuring out how to give these reviews and recommendations. The recommendations is easy. I either recommend people to read the book or not. What the review is something I'll probably figure out over time. I'll give this one 9.5 out of 10. Incredible read. Straightforward to the point. Very small critiques, but to me it feels like an important book, because times are a changing, whatever that old-timey song is, and this book has helped me be prepared for some of the changes that may be coming. That some changes have already come and have already been established, but this has given me some insight into how things might turn out in the near future, whether it's in 2026 or within the next 2 years, 5 years. I feel like the 2028 election is going to be definitely very interesting to look at, to see what happens if it happens, which the author has alluded to how that's been played out in the past. But like I said, definitely highly recommend, definitely read it for yourself and see how you like it. Distracted driver. She was moving something in her car. Yeah, just pick it up, find it at a local library. The books that I really like, I'm going to be purchasing and starting to rebuild my library. Like I said, I used to read a bunch of books when I was younger, and some of those books, I've been fortunate to have my parents still have it in like a random closet, and I found it. I want to build a library of books that I like the book I read last week. I don't see any reason in buying. I bought it, I read it, understood it, made a review, and that's it. But that's not a book I'm gonna be like telling people to recommend. But this book for sure I'm gonna buy, and the picture of it I should have it edited at like the top left corner or wherever. But yeah, I guess I'll leave this review at the end. I'll probably make this its own video.